Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's Holy Sabbath Day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As you guys know, we are in getting to the ending stages of our Feast of Unleavened Bread. So when you look at these holy days that Yahweh has given unto us, each time that we read about them, we find first they give us a description in here of observing the Sabbath. And we find that the heathen never liked the Sabbath because they had their setup and the things that they wanted to do. It was already based on profaning the Sabbath. And to try and get everybody to go along with what they have, they pretty much always wanted anybody that they conquered to conform to their ways. So we were given a Sabbath. Even as the Gentiles first learned this word, they heard it on the Sabbath, as is written in Acts chapter 13. The Gentiles which heard the word then came the next Sabbath day that the word might be preached unto them again. So in Acts is the first 30 years of the church. So even after the birth, death, and resurrection of the Mashiach, the Sabbath was still in effect. We know that Constantine ended up changing that some 320 something years later, being not of the church itself, so he had no authority to change anything. But we are creatures of habit, and now that we've gotten accustomed to those things, those are the things that we do. Now, that's on the side of people coming in the Word. The other thing with us who have been in the Word, sometimes we become a little relaxed. What normally happens is sometimes after you've been doing something for a while, you begin to get a little slack in it. The first time we get a new job, we show up 30 minutes early. You know, let it be about 2 months later, and we getting that 30 minutes late. But when it's new onto us, we have that zeal and we exercise that zeal. So we have to go in and make sure that we fully understand those things and reaffirm our beliefs and reaffirm what it is that Yahweh is holding us accountable to, so that we don't end up stepping away from his word just because we've been doing it for a while. Some of the strangest things that I've ever seen from people in the word, it doesn't come from new people in the word. It comes from people who've been in the word for 10, 15, 20 years. Now the word has gotten relaxed to them, and now they start doing all manner of things. You expect things from somebody who just got in the word because they're trying to figure some things out. But the most god-awful things I've seen have not come from new people. So that's why we have to continually make sure that we get back to the foundation from time to time, so that we don't get a little too comfortable. But brother, would you read the oracles and entreat the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may make this a holy convocation by the angel's presence.
1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as your oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, we're going to begin today's sermon in Genesis chapter 1, and we're going to begin that at verse 26. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26 through chapter 2 and verse 3.
Verse 26. And Elohim said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of El created he him. Male and female created he them.
Right. Elohim said, let us make man after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle. So understand, by the time man is created, there are no more dinosaurs. All of those things, man can't have dominion over something that's trying to eat him. Go ahead.
And Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. And Elohim said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
Right. Meat is food. Go ahead.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made.
Right. So now the Sabbath is blessed and sanctified, is the first thing that is blessed and sanctified before there are any nations, before there are any other things created on the earth. It is about Yahweh putting together this earth and his rest. That's what the Sabbath is based upon. Let's go to our Exodus chapter 31. Now, I had a Jehovah's Witness tell me that the Sabbath was for the Israelites. Now we're gonna read something so you can understand where he got that statement. But do understand, there's no Israel, there's no anything on that seventh day when he blessed it and sanctified it. There was no nation of Israel. Yahweh had already said, I didn't choose you because you were more and mightier than any other people, for you were the fewest of the people. Our nation started with a family of 70 people. All other nations were already set up. And as we read in the beginning, the Africans were the first ones to start ruling. And all the other kingdoms of people are mimicking what the Africans built. They're not going to tell you that. Exodus chapter 31, and let's read verses 12 through 18.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak you also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Shabbats you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahweh that does sanctify you. You shall keep the Shabbat therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defiles it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever does any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Shabbat of rest, only to Yahweh. Whosoever does any work in the Shabbat day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, to observe the Shabbat throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever.
Right. This is where the Jehovah's Witness got that from. He said it was given just to the children of Israel. Keep reading.
For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
So, consider something. Yahweh gives the children of Israel this perpetual covenant between him. But the Sabbath is based on the things that happen on page 1. See, the Sabbath was already there. He hadn't had anybody set up on the earth to be his representatives. So, Yahweh already blessed and sanctified the Sabbath. But here's the problem. All this time that all the nations are multiplying on the earth and they're setting up families, they're setting up kingdoms, they're doing this thing, they're not keeping any Sabbath. But the Sabbath was the first thing blessed and sanctified. Then he told Israel. Because Israel is his representatives here on earth. This is where the confusion comes in. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And he gave unto Moshe, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of El.
And I don't know why people think that's so strange. We find a offering in the garden after they sinned. We find that he clothed them with skins of animals, yet it was quite some time later before he said anything about animal sacrifice. So Yahweh, just because man doesn't understand the level in which Yahweh is doing things, doesn't mean that those things just became of importance. Exodus chapter 16. And we're going to read verses 15 through 30. I read a post from somebody posted something, and they were trying to, mock the them not eating from the tree of knowledge, and their statement was, so God don't want you to have knowledge and understanding. And if you're not careful when you listen to certain things, it'll throw you off when you start listening to a lot of naysayers. But
in verse 15, and when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, for they knew not what it was. And Moshe said unto them, This is the bread which Yahweh has given you to eat. This is the thing which Yahweh hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take you every man for them which are in his tents.
When you consider when you learn certain things, it's no coincidence that Yahweh has brought you into understanding at the time that you are in this understanding. You may not have been able to really receive that earlier in your life. And some people were down the street from the word. I used to pass by the place where my elder used to teach all the time. Matter of fact, it was a club across the street. We used to go over there and go in the parking lot so we can watch girls come out and just walk around. And here it come. The best knowledge that I was ever going to get was across the street from the den of iniquity that I was hanging out at. Right. Yahweh knew, no, he not ready to go across the street yet. He ain't ready for that. He ain't ready. Let him play a little longer in this den of iniquity, and then we'll get him out. He ain't ready yet. See? Go ahead.
Verse 17. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating.
Mm-hmm.
And Moshe said, let no man leave of it till the morning.
Right. So he's already dealing with covetousness right off the rip. See, that whole thing that we deal with when you see them hoarders and all of that, it's coveting. It's trying to hold on to everything, because in your mind, when you coveting, it's like this is gonna be of importance someday. So you keeping stuff. I mean, you got stacks from 1972. You got some bell bottoms in there. Talking about, well, they gonna come back. You got some old polyester zoot suits. They gonna come back. You ain't got no more room in this place to keep holding all these old polyester suits. But they gonna come back one day. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moshe, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moshe was angry with them.
Right, because you already got enough. You gathered whatever you gathered, and you did not lack. So why are you trying to hold on to more? Coveting. Go ahead.
And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating.
According to his eating, not according to my name. The amount of manna that I'm going to get ain't going to be the kind of manna that big brother right there gets. See, he might have 2 satchels full of, manna. I'm going to get a little Ziploc bag. Now, see, here go your thing. Now, when you're coveting, you start looking at, well, why that brother got so much manna over there? Have you seen the size of that brother? I don't need 2 grocery bags full of manna. See? But when you're coveting, you're not looking at what you have. You're looking at what your neighbor has. See? So now you got an issue, not because of what you have. No, I'm looking at what he has. Now, here come the problem. Go ahead.
And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for 1 man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moshe.
Right. So they want to know, how is it every day I've been getting the same amount, but every last one of us got double the amount that we normally get on this day. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, this is that which Yahweh had said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Shabbat unto Yahweh. Bake that which you shall bake today, and seed that you will seed. And that which remains over lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
So all the other stuff, when you laid it over, it stank and bred worms. Go ahead.
And they laid it up till the morning, as Moshe bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moshe said, eat that today, for today is a Shabbat unto Yahweh. Today you shall not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Shabbat, in it there shall be none.
Right. So Yahweh has automatically set this Sabbath different from any other days. So all the other days you go out and get it, but not on this day. This day is sanctified. It is set apart. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for it to gather, and they found none.
What they looking for? You got double the amount the day before. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, how long refuse you to keep my commandments and my laws?
Here's the part about being in charge that I have to explain. Men two men who are the head of their houses, and to all of these people, especially people who call themselves to teach and Yahweh hadn't called them. And if you are not prepared for those things, so Yahweh has to prepare you for this. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, how long refuse you to keep my commandment? I wasn't the one out there gathering in man. I'm sitting in the tent, Jack. Man, that's these folks. I told them, they went out there. Yahweh don't care. Hey, man, who in charge, bro? You in charge? Well, then, why you do that? I didn't do it. First day my elder gave me the media department. He said, Sock, it's your fault. I said, what? He said, right. I said, what you talking about? He said, it's your fault. What? Everything. Everything that go wrong is your fault. I got it. Don't come back to me with no stories about what she said and then he did and then You in charge. It's your fault. Go ahead.
Verse 29. See, for that Yahweh has given you the Shabbat. Therefore he gives you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide you every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day.
So he had to make them rest on the 7th day. In the beginning, it wasn't set for them to just stay in the house. But because they couldn't come out of their house and not start looking for manna, he just made them stay in the house. But that was not his original plan. Now, when you hear some of the, especially the prosperity preachers, they gainsay about the Sabbath. That whole every day is holy type thing. And T.D. Jakes got a real good one. He got a nice little sermon about every day is holy. I mean, there's a lot of singing and dancing and passing out and speaking in tongues. Here's the problem. It was on that preparation day, there was a double amount of manna. So when somebody come to you with that slick thing of every day is holy, your thing need to be, okay, so why didn't they get double manna for every day? Okay, all right. See, that way, stop trying to make, see, they're trying to oversimplify things. And you go right there. They try to go and sensationalize everything. Because, boy, T.D. Jakes had a good one. The Sabbath is holy. And that Sunday, the first day is holy. The second day is holy. Ah! And everybody just, and they going through all of those things, right? So people all excited. Okay. But why he didn't get double manna then for all those other days? He gave double manna for the Sabbath. Now, let me see your prosperity deal with that. Because prosperity, y'all like double, right? Yeah, they like numbers in prosperity. Let me see you prosperityze this one right here. I know that ain't no word, but I made it up. Let's go, brother. Numbers chapter 15. Let's see somebody who like numbers. You can't tell me that you don't recognize a double blessing when you see it. You can't tell me you didn't recognize double. If you know you ain't got but $40 in the bank and you go in there and it's 80, you can't tell me you ain't noticed that. You start walking around, excuse me, brother, did you put something in my account? Can I talk to you for a second? Hey, man, how I get $80 in my account? I have $40, bro. I know how much I had. I got $80. You don't mistake when you get double the amount. That's hard to miss. You got one car and you come home and there's 2 cars in the driveway. Hey, what's going on up in here? Hey, where does other car come from? That's yours, son. Hey, I ain't never gonna forget that. But yet you're going to tell me that people who all about prosperity can overlook the double blessing that's given for the Sabbath. No, something don't sound right with that. Something don't sound right at all. Numbers chapter 15.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When you be come into the land of your habitations, which I give unto you, I will make an offering by fire unto Yahweh, a burnt offering, for a sacrifice in performing a vow, or in a freewill offering, or in your solemn feast, to make a sweet savor unto Yahweh of the herd or of the flock. Then shall he that offers his offering unto Yahweh bring a meat offering of a tenth deal of flour mingled with flour verse 4.
Just back that up. You just hit rewind. All right. Go ahead, bro.
Then shall he that offers his offering unto Yahweh bring a meat offering of a tenth deal of flour mingled with the fourth part of an hin of oil. And the fourth part of an hin of wine for a drink offering shall you prepare with a burnt offering or sacrifice for one lamb. Or for a ram you shall prepare for a meat offering 2/10 deals of flour mingled with the third part of an hin of oil. And for a drink offering you shall offer the third part of an hin of wine, for a sweet savor unto Yahweh.
Right. And of course, we were told that church people are too holy to drink wine. Yet, every last one of these offerings, Yahweh got wine. And you find out that those wines help you purge meats. Yahweh got a system. And everybody think they so smart. We think we so smart, we're going to bypass the system. Grape juice just as good as wine. So let's just substitute, let's put that grape juice in there. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And when you prepareth a bullock for a burnt offering, or for a sacrifice in performing a vow, or peace offerings unto Yahweh, then shall he bring with a bullock a meat offering of 3/10 deals of flour mingled with half an hin of oil. And you shall bring for a drink offering half an hin of wine, for an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahweh.
Now, understand that we deal with the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. So when we talk about all of these offerings, it is good for us to understand what certain things are for, but the ordinances, and this is one thing that you'll find that's written in the book where it says he has taken away the ordinances and nailed them to his cross. So what people start dealing with is they think that we don't have to do anything. Jump to verse 15.
One ordinance shall be both for you of the congregation and also for the stranger that sojourns with you. An ordinance for every in your generations, as you are, so shall the stranger be before Yahweh.
So when you deal with, we have already had a perfect sacrifice. So in the spirit of the law, we deal with the other things, but not the sacrifices. The sacrifices have been set aside for a time. Jump to verse 32.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Shabbat day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moshe and Aaron, and unto all the congregation. And they put him in ward, because it was not declared what should be done to him.
Now, this sounds like, especially when I first read it, I was like, boy, Yahweh hard, boy, from the beginning. This cat just gathering sticks. You just pick up sticks and Yahweh like, I'm going to kill him. But what he's doing is preparing for work. See, this is that part where you covet before you steal. Like before somebody ran in the bank and pulled a robbery, first he started looking at all that money in there. Boy, look at that money. What I could do with that money. That's the beginning of the robbery right there. Cause now he's starting to covet that money, and the next thing you know, boom, here comes the robbery. So he's already preparing for these things, and we've gotten so accustomed to things that we don't really understand the purpose of some of these things. When they locked on you, city of granite, it's granite rock all over the place. When they want to chip and get that rock, they just set a fire. Once they start setting the fire, you hear it crackling. They hit it with a hammer, all the rock breaks off. So they just go to a rock quarry, set the rock on fire, hit it with a hammer, it breaks off. They're able to then take those rocks and go and build something with it. So don't take this, he was going to gather sticks, as, he just strolling along and brothers for a stick. Hey man, go stick. Let's pick up another stick. Then Yahweh like, I'm going to kill you because you got them sticks. No. Y'all, you're looking at that all wrong. This is serious work. This is preparation for work. Before they had to go and build, remember the children of Israel going when Moshe started talking to Pharaoh, they had bricks for building, and he said, what? Y'all gonna have to make y'all own bricks. Remember, that was a part of the punishment. You are idle. Now we ain't going to get you no more stuff to make brick. See, you got to make the rock first. Then you can go and build. So I looked at that the wrong way when I first came across that. Go ahead.
Yeah, what he took away from them was the straw. They had to go gather their own straws
right.
to make the brick.
To try to make the brick. So there's a process. And that slowed them down from working. Because they had to get the brick together first. See, you got to set that fire. They use all of those things, and that's what they did. They set up the wood, then they lit the little straw, threw it on the wood, burned it, rock started crackling, then they broke it. Go ahead.
Verse 35. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, the man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp, and stoned him with stones, and he died, as Yahweh commanded Moshe.
And let me tell you something. This is so one of those things that will stick in your head when you have to sit there and watch the punishment and take part in the punishment. This right here is how you cut off sin. When stuff start happening like that, and if you ever seen one of those old crazy stoning things, you don't want to be a part of that. And you don't want nobody else to be a part of that. So you see your brother doing something, you go out of your way to stop your brother, because the last thing you want to do is have to go over there and throw rocks at somebody that you love. That's the last thing. So now there's you understand a little bit more than people say, oh man, you snitching on me. Brother, I'm trying to keep you from dying. So you see your brother off, you go help your brother. Because the last thing you want, if you see one of these things, you'll understand you do not want to be a part of this. And Yahweh made it to where you ain't going to be innocent. All y'all going to throw the rock. Everybody get one and stand in line. Next time somebody else get ready to do something, you're going to take off running to stop them. Don't do that. Because see, now it ain't just about them being condemned. It's about now you got to play part in the condemnation. You got to grab the rock and start hurling it at them as well. When you start making everybody a part of it, you start realizing how each person depends on the next person, which depends on the next person. But we like to be on an island, especially nowadays. See? This is why we don't even know our own neighbors. Been in the neighborhood 10, 15 years, know one person. Go ahead.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 37. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a riband of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Yah, and do them, and that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a-whoring.
So the fringes are to remind you to keep the law of Yahweh your Elohim. Go ahead.
That you may remember and do all your commandments, and be holy unto your Elohim. Verse 40, that you may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your Elohim. I am Yahweh your El, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah chapter 17. See, when we look at these things about the holy days, it always seems strange, because before Yahweh lists the holy days, he goes right back in and starts talking about the Sabbath. He starts talking about the Sabbath first. Then, and the heading will say, I'm about to tell you about the holy days. Then he go into the Sabbath. Then he goes into the holy days. So it lets you know what these holy days are based upon. Then you find within these holy days that we have Sabbaths that are not weekly Sabbaths, but they are Sabbath within those holy days. So it's not that where it falls, and because we have other proselytes and other people who have joined this word and brought their own cultures and things with them. We have all kinds of things going on where people say, well, so that a holy day won't be on a certain day, they'll move it. And Yahweh in no way, shape, fashion, or form authorize any of those things. Jeremiah chapter 17, and we're going to read, I'll start at verse 19.
Thus said Yahweh unto me, Go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, whereby the kings of Yehuda come in, and by the which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem. And say unto them, Hear you the word of Yah, you kings of Yehuda, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates.
Right. This is Yahweh giving instruction to go and say these things unto the people. Today, when somebody says they're a prophet, oh man, people be running for miles around to get a personal prophecy. Boy, when these prophets showed up, people were trying to get out of Dodge. They wanted to know, why you here, man? Have you come to pronounce evil against this city? They didn't want to see the prophet. Because he's telling them what Yahweh got a problem with. Today, prophets show up at people's churches and do personal prophecies. You just kind of have to pay $500 to $1,000 to come down to the front. Convenient, ain't it? Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahweh, Take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Shabbat day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Shabbat day, neither do you any work, but hallow you the Shabbat days, as I commanded your fathers.
Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day. So when the brother come out of his house to go gather sticks, he's already preparing for the work. Go ahead.
But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear, nor receive instruction. And it shall come to pass, if you diligently hearken unto me, saith Yahweh, to bring in no burden throughout the gates of this city on the Shabbat day, but hallow the Shabbat day, to do no work therein, then shall there enter into the gates of this city kings and princes sitting upon the throne of David.
So, consider that. So, Yahweh then says, if you keep this Sabbath, then these are the things that I'm going to do. Now, your enemy has now found, he has been invited into your land. Yahweh then made you train your enemy. Now your enemy are false priests who have now introduced their own isms and schisms inside of your culture. Now, your enemy has your book. Your enemy has your history, and your enemy now finds out if you don't keep the Sabbath, then certain things gonna happen to you. So what you think your enemy needs you to do? You think it's in your enemy's best interest for you to keep Sabbath? Right. So Leah, I tell you what, they marching for civil rights. Let's go over there and help them. So y'all gotta go back and look at all the ish that was all in the civil rights movement. This gonna help destroy them. They was all in, yeah, we'll help y'all. Yeah, we shall overcome. Yes, we shall. Right. Cause see, I got y'all book. Y'all don't know it's y'all yet, but I got y'all book. And it say, as long as y'all don't keep the Sabbath, y'all gonna suffer. Y'all gonna have certain issues as a people. Now, we're in the land of our captivity, so we're not going to be able to do all the things that we were able to do in our land. But in our land, there was nothing holding us back from keeping the Shabbat. Nothing. Go ahead.
Riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Yehuda, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall remain forever. Verse 26. And they shall come from the cities of Yehuda, and from the places about Jerusalem, and from the land of Benjamin, and from the plain, and from the mountains, and from the south, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices, and meat offerings, and incense, and bringing sacrifices of praise unto the house of Yahweh. But if you will not hearken unto me to hallow the Shabbat day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched.
All right. So then we see now Yahweh has then decreed what's going to happen to you if you don't. Brother, would you pass out those apocryphas? Y'all might have to share. I don't know how many of those we have. Remember the address? I have to remind me, remember the address. We're going to go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1. First Maccabees chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 7 through 58. First Maccabees chapter 1. First Maccabees chapter 1, and we're going to start that at verse 7.
So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Now, this is why there's certain parts of the Apocrypha that they did not want in this canon. Because this gives not only verification that the Euro-Gentiles came in and destroyed all of these things, it gives names. They calling out this big name dropping up in here. No, we can find these people in secular history. We can find these people. Ain't no more this gray area where you know these people, them. No. No, they name dropping in here. Who did it? Go ahead.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Right. So when we read Joel chapter 3, we find it says that Tyre and Sidon, the Africans, sold the children of Israel to the Gentiles, the Greeks. Can the Ish find any point where Africans sold them to white people? Nowhere in their history, no possible way. That's because they're converts. They have converted to Judaism, but because you ain't there, they are now claiming that the history belongs to them. That's deep when somebody come to your house and tell you you a visitor. Go ahead.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Yisrael wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right, things go better with us if we just, be with the heathen. See? All we got to do is be heathenistic like them and things will go well for us. Same thing here. You agree with the heathen, you're going to have less problems at first. Go ahead.
So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen.
They have license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. So in other words, if any of your people of the children of Israel say anything to you while you doing this wickedness, here, I'm going to give you a wicked license. Here you go. So you just flip this out. They said, brother, are you fornicating? Yes, I am. And here's my fornication pass. What, you got a fornication pass? Where you get that? Come on over here to the king and give you one. Right. Go ahead.
whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots, and elephants, and horsemen, and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him, and fled, and many were wounded to death.
And see, all of these names, you can go back to your history books and find all of these things. This was not in the benefit of the Christian Crusaders, because they don't want you to know that they set up Christianity through murder and mayhem, that they went from place to place, convert or die. Convert, please. That's how Christianity got the numbers that it got. You go in and you kill off 10,000 people. I mean, before you say a word. Then you offer the rest of, you want to live? Yep. Here you go. This is your new God. You do that for a generation or two. The rest of them don't even remember why they do what they do. But they know they're living. See, this is the part they don't want to tell you when they're talking about the jihad. And they're telling you about how wicked these people are. Wait a minute. Didn't you do that first? What you? Yours just wasn't called a jihad. It was a different name. But you went off and killed whole towns. Yahweh never gave anybody the right to go and spread the word through violence. Then you got these brothers downtown hollering at everybody. Yahweh ain't got nothing to do with that. He didn't give anybody license to spread the word through the sword. Your sword was to protect you, not to go in and take somebody's land and make them do what you do. You speak the word. If they don't hear it, that's their business. But you don't have the right to spread the word with a sword. Go ahead.
You know, brother, in verse 14, we say, you know, in this day and age, we say, well, they just built an exercise. It's just a gym.
Right.
But then the key word, according to the customs of the heathen.
Right.
You got to understand their customs to understand why it was sin.
And their customs ain't pretty. Ain't pretty. Right. They play butt naked ball. They do some strange, even to this day. You go in the gym and somebody just walk right by you butt naked. But, hey, bro. Hey, hold on, bro. Bro, you ain't see us standing here, man. I mean, you just gonna walk right out here, you know, naked, man. That's customary for them. For the customs of the heathen in Europe. That's their whole thing. They deal like that. And then bringing that whole situation to Jerusalem is completely wicked. Here it is, we covered and we watching naked people walk around. They had public baths. Well, it's just a pool with a bunch of naked people. But you can see that in their sculptures. Why all of the sculptures got to be naked? Y'all haven't considered that? You go in the Catholic Church. Who all these butt naked people in? Why you looking around, there's naked people everywhere. Ain't this the church? Why all these naked statues? Go ahead.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 19. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
So consider this. The very people who went against Jerusalem constantly, are the very ones who then provided you with a so-called people that they got out of Germany and telling you that those are the children of Israel. There's something that you ought to see funny about that. So after you destroyed it, then you put some some in there. I'm supposed to believe that those are the real people after you were the one that destroyed it? That's quite peculiar. Go ahead.
And entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the vial, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off.
Right. So understand, during the time of the Messiah, they called it Herod's temple. Do understand, he was an Edomite. Do understand who are the people that are controlling and standing in the middle part with the Euro Gentiles. Consider how the same way that things go on now. In the Middle East, if they invade it, they put somebody in control. This is why they can't really figure out certain parts of the Middle East, because they're saying, okay, even if we go in there in war, who we gonna put in charge? They gotta have somebody who look like them but follow their instructions. Go ahead.
Verse 23. He took also silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoken very proudly. Therefore there was great mourning in Yisrael, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned. The virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Yaakov was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judea, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
Right, jump to verse 41.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Right, the same thing that Constantine did. He conquered all of this land, and he said, I need to make all of these people one people, because this is going to make my kingdom run better. All of these different groups and factions, they're going to be a problem. So I got to make all of these people believe that they are one people. So let's take this new religion thing. We're going to call it Christianity, because ain't nobody called that name. And we're going to gather everybody who worships whatever. We're going to put all of those things together and put them in this one thing. So now all the people will feel like they are a part of one another. Now they can share gods. See? Now your God got a day in Christianity. Your God got a day in Christianity. So what happens? If you keep going to everybody's party, then say, well, you know what? On your party, everybody wear green. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna come to your party next month, and I'm gonna wear all my green. And then the month after that, you can come to the party of my God. Now he got all these people becoming to mesh together now. Because instead of them being separate and keep their God, they can still keep their gods, but they're mingling with everybody else's God. Go ahead.
Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yes, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Shabbat.
Right. So now your enemy knows how important the Sabbath is. So your enemy need to make sure that you don't keep this. Go ahead.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judea, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Shabbats and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves, and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh, unclean beasts, and unclean beasts.
Right. So it's one thing that you're going to always see at these heathen days. You're going to always see that pig. No matter what holiday you're going to keep with the heathen, that pig going to be there. Go ahead.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Right. So this is the way that the new rulership needs us to be, so that we can conform to their way. It was a reason why Kunta Kinte was beat. You need to accept this name. See, your name is the first indication of what culture you belong to. Now you need to take this name Toby, boy. See, that's going to prove that my culture has overrun yours and you are part of us. We ain't a part of you. See, that kunta is going to show you trying to keep your culture. Go ahead.
To the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Right. See, people don't want to tell you that it was people's lives on the line just trying to keep the Sabbath. They want to tell you, yeah, the Sabbath is nailed to the cross. Yeah, we don't have this kind of part, this kind of stuff right here. They conveniently leave out. No, man. The same people that's telling you that we didn't have to deal with none of it are the same people who marched in there and killed everybody who was keeping it. It's amazing how bits and pieces of the story keep getting left off, all depending on who you listen to tell it. Go ahead.
In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judea to sacrifice, city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for safety.
Right. So now the people who are going to keep these things, they got to run. Go ahead.
Now the 15th day of the month, Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and built idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets.
So you find out, consider, here come the Messiah. Yeshua comes into the scene, right? After all these things, he does not pick one person from the temple. You have to understand why. The temple was completely corrupt. It wasn't controlled by Israel. They had figureheads. He walking down the street and getting two sets of brothers, fishermen, just rough looking, just run by, hey, come follow me. Hey, you, come follow me. Hey, man, it's priests down there. Yeah, but they ain't no real priests. But they in charge. They got all the pretty robes and stuff. See, that's what we use to think, Yahweh must have chosen these people. Look how fine their building is. Look at the pastor's car. Surely Yahweh has blessed them. Yahshua walked through there and didn't pick not a one of them. Then told the rest of them, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Yeah, but those are people in the temple. Yeah, I know. They're corrupt. Be careful of their doctrine. Yeah, but they the ones teaching. Yeah, I know. What? See, that's hard for us to do when we go into a church with 5,000 people and you sit down and Yahweh say, yeah, beware of the doctrine of that guy right there. That's the guy teaching. Yeah, I know. That stuff not real. The other day, Rebecca brought me a flyer that they were passing out for this particular church's Easter celebration. And I remember how this church would boast their name. I remember how you would see all over these flags that were on top of the car, and the flags would be waving with the name of their church. But because of their last scandal happened with their pastor, here go this flyer. I thought the name of the church was, Victory Church or something, because the biggest words on it was victorious. So I said, oh, Victory Church is having this such and such. And she was like, no, keep looking. I flipped the thing over, and the only thing you can find out that it was this particular church was you look down and the little small writing had their website on it. I said, wow, they done lost a lot of members since, this little scandal with their pastor and them little boys. They ain't even putting their name on their own flyers. That deep right there. You just invite somebody out to a place. Where you come? Just come to 3819. Okay, well, who the people are? You'll find out who we are when we get there. Just come on 3819. We're going to be at 3819. Who are you? You're like, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute, I know that. This is New Death. This is what this is. You will find out when you get there. Now that is some trickery. They're usually going to give somebody a address. And if they don't look at the fine print, they don't even see your name. That's the first thing you put on the flyer is your name. Why would you have an advertisement but not mention what you're advertising? That's something wrong with that. There's something seriously wrong with that. But we have to get into this point where we're not going to be about all the pomp and circumstance in the show. We want to know what thus says Yahweh. And these are historical events. I don't deal with everything in the Apocrypha. Do you understand? Because there's some other stuff in here I deal with the historical parts of the Apocrypha. See, this got names. Ain't a bunch of... See, you get into all them other books, brother, be talking about, did you read Jubilees, my brother? Did you read such and such? And the coyote said to the monkey, look here, brother, I don't need to hear no conversation between no coyote and a monkey. Okay? None of that even sound like nothing I need to be read. If I want to have some fantasy, brother, I'll watch Harry Potter. I don't need none of that. This right here, I can find these people in secular history. I know who they are and what it is they've done. Go ahead.
Verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
Right. Now, consider, the Roman Catholic Church didn't want anybody else to be able to read the Bible. They did not want it translated. They did not want anybody else to have it. Everybody who tried to translate it, they did what? They burnt them with fire. That's interesting. Right. They do the same things over and over again. Go ahead.
And whithersoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
Right. So people want to know how Christianity spread all over the world. Here you go. This is how it spread all over the world. This is how your mama taught it to you. Your mama taught you what her mama taught her. But if you go farther enough down that line, somebody was given the mandate, either do this or die. That's how you learn those things. Go ahead.
Thus they did by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities.
Every month. That is disturbing. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 13. And if y'all would pass those books back up, please. That's right. Let's go ahead and get it before you get too accustomed to it. Because you know, possession is 9/10 of the law. You know what I'm saying? Jay could tell you, but see, I know it's not mine, Sock, but I had it so long. No, man, give him the book back, bro. Give him the book back. Let me go ahead and get that. Nehemiah chapter 13. And we're going to read verses 15 through 22.
556.
Appreciate it.
Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 15. In those days saw I in Yehuda some treading wine presses on the Shabbat, and bringing in sheaves, and lading asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Shabbat day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Shabbat unto the children of Yehuda and in Jerusalem. Then I contented with the nobles of Yehuda, and said unto them, What evil thing is this that you do, and profane the Shabbat day? Did not your fathers thus? And did not our Elohim bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet you bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Shabbat. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Shabbat, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Shabbat. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should no burden be brought in on the Shabbat day.
So now he's going to understanding the things that we've just read. Now on the flip side, you find them brothers that are forcibly making Israel keep these things. Go ahead.
So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them, and said unto them, Why lodge you about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Shabbat.
Right. I mean, we done got into fights before, but was your fight ever about a righteous thing? We get to fighting for all kind of mess. Look here, man. We got customs up in here. So you bring this up in here one more time, and I'm going to lay hands on you. Because the children of Israel can't buy nothing if ain't nobody bringing it in to sell. Did you finish that?
Verse 22. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates to sanctify the Shabbat day. Remember me, O my Elohim, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of your mercy.
All right, let's go to our Exodus chapter 35. Gonna get into some more ordinances here. Exodus chapter 35, and we're going to read verses 1 through 3.
Verse 1. And Moshe gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together, and said unto them, These are the words which Yahweh has commanded, that you should do them. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be to you an holy day, a Shabbat of rest to Yahweh. Whosoever does work therein shall be put to death. You shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Shabbat day.
Right, so now we got to figure out what this is. You shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations, and throughout, the Hebrew word is coal, which is in Strong's H3605, and the definition says properly the whole, hence all, any, or every, altogether, as many as, is different ways in which that can be used. So when you talk about in all your habitations in the places where you live, because you have a lot of people, of course, that say, well, we can't keep the Sabbath because we're not in our land. But then there's this thing right here, kindle no fire in your houses upon the Sabbath day. Do you understand how they make pottery and how they do all of those things? That fire is heated up to do all of these things. But do understand, your furnace also is a fire. So does Yahweh want you to be cold on the Sabbath? So we have to look at intent for things as well. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12. All the holy days that Yahweh has given the children of Israel, they're in the warm months. Yahweh don't command us to gather on any cold day. All of them, they begin in the growth season and they end right before it starts getting cold. So when it get cold, I'm turning my heat on. I don't know about y'all. Exodus chapter 12, and we're gonna read verses 1 through 16, and we can find out what this is about.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak you unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Right. So when you get down to these offerings, remember now the children of Israel and these priests had to consume, they had to eat the offering. This is part of why they were really thrown off when the Messiah said, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no part in me, because he was the sacrifice. They have to eat the sacrifice. Now you find out that these sacrifices, even when it talks about this lamb, it must be roasted, must be with fire. Go ahead.
Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the pertinence thereof. And you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remains of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. And thus shall you eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I'll pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and you shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
So here it is, we have a holy day. The first day of that holy day is also a Shabbat, and it says you shall do no work. But that which you must eat, that may be done of you. So you still have to do what you need to do to eat. But the rest of that concerning the work is not supposed to be done. So now we have what man's intent is there. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. See, the heathen has set up everything around the Shabbat. And there's just certain things that you're going to end up doing here in the land of our captivity that you're going to have to deal with some things on the Shabbat. But this is also a part of our punishment. Because in a holy and righteous land, nobody would dare even to offer that. Leviticus chapter 23, and let's read verses 1 through 8.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
So even before he gives these feasts, now he's going to give the breakdown of the Sabbath. Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Shabbat of rest, an holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Shabbat of Yahweh in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. But you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. In the 7th day is an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When you be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest.
Now, the part in verse 8, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. So then there is definitely the fire of this offering, and that, of course, is being done on the Sabbath. Let's go to Numbers chapter 28. Numbers 28. Let's read verses 1 through 15.
Verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say unto them, My offering and my bread for my sacrifices made by fire, for a sweet savor unto me, shall you observe to offer unto me in their due season.
See, this is why when you come down to those feasts and those things, we can't offer you food. We're keeping the righteousness of the law, but we can't offer a bunch of things that was not cooked by fire. See, the offering has to be made by fire. Now, our offerings are spiritual in nature, but there's certain things about the spirit of the law that we still have to observe. So we can't offer a bunch of cold cuts while we keeping these things. Go ahead.
And you shall say unto them, This is the offering made by fire which you shall offer unto Yahweh.
And it's constant. You're going to see constantly throughout this offering made by fire, offering made by fire, offering made by fire. If you even tried to search it, it's going to be, it's everywhere. Go ahead.
2 lambs of the first year without spot day by day for a continual burnt offering.
Day by day, continual for a burnt offering. Go ahead.
The 1 lamb shall you offer in the morning, and the other lamb shall you offer at even. And a 10th part of an ephah of flour for a meat offering, mingled with the 4th part of an hin of beaten oil. It is a continual burnt offering, which was ordained in Mount Sinai for a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yahweh. And the drink offering thereof shall be the 4th part of an hin for the 1 lamb. In the holy place shall you cause the strong wine to be poured onto Yahweh for a drink offering.
Where you doing that at?
The holy place.
Okay, go ahead.
And the other lamb shall you offer at even, as the meat offering of the morning, and as the drink offering thereof, you shall offer it a sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yahweh. And on the Shabbat day 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2 tenth deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil, and the drink offering thereof.
So on the Sabbath day, you burning 2 lambs of the first year without spot, continually. Go ahead.
This is the burnt offering of every Shabbat.
Every Shabbat, this have to be done. Go ahead.
And I think with the Shabbat, we kind of try to separate the feast day Shabbats from the 7th day Shabbat. A Shabbat is a Shabbat. It's all holy convocation.
Exactly.
Only one Shabbat has a different ordinance, and that's atonement.
Go ahead.
Beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. And in the beginnings of your months you shall offer a burnt offering unto Yahweh, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil.
And the reason for that is because we're fasting. We have a tendency to make ourselves busy to try to get away from that hunger. See, Yahweh know your slickness. See, so he already stopped you before you do it. See, you find other people who don't normally do no work. You have to go find them to try to get them to help you. All of a sudden, on atonement, would you like for me to do something? No, I want you to sit there and think about all your sins. Don't be trying to, No, I don't want you to help me do nothing. No, I help you. No, you trying to make the day go by. That's what you trying to do because you hungry. We ain't finna make the day go by. You sit down and think about it. See, that's what we use work for. Now we need to spread the day out because we can't eat that whole day. See, that's what that's for. Go ahead.
Numbers chapter 28 and verse 12. And 3/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil for 1 ram, and a several tenth deal of flour mingled with oil for a meat offering unto 1 lamb.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 12. I got what I want to get out of there. Matthew chapter 12, and let's read verses 1 through 14.
Verse 1. At that time Yahshua went on the Shabbat day throughout the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, your disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Shabbat day.
So, because they're out there plucking, all of those things is certain parts that should be done beforehand. So then they're gonna, give them a hard time on this. Go ahead.
But he said unto them, Have you not read what Dawid did when he was an hungered, and they that were with him? How he entered into the house of Elohim, and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests?
Mm-hmm.
Or have you not read in the law, how that on the Shabbat days the priests in the temple profane the Shabbat, and are blameless?
The priests profane the Sabbath and are held blameless. Priests have to work on the Sabbath. All of these things that you're talking about, you reading all of this, a fire still going on, all of these things, that there's all these other people helping the priests and doing their job. Do understand? I'm sitting here. I have a job to do. This is not a rest for me. I can't rest on the Sabbath day. Half the time when I come in here, I had a couple of hours of sleep the night before. Then there's other people that have to do things for me to be able to do my job. So you got Yahshua, then you got his disciples. They have a problem with them, but they are helping him do his job. He's the high priest, and they are under priests. So they working. So understand, it's people that show up here to keep the Sabbath day. There's other people here that's been working. By the time you get here, there's people that been working 3-4 hours. Go ahead.
I mean, you still got to kindle a fire to light them candles, light the incense. Verse 6. But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if you had known what this means, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless. For the Son of Man is Adonai even of the Shabbat day. And when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Shabbat days? That they might accuse him.
Is it lawful to heal on the Shabbat days? Now, they can't heal on no day. See, this the slickness right here. Why you got to heal on the Sabbath? I tell you what, you heal on any day. Well, I can't. Well, that's your problem. See? What did the man say? I know for envy they have delivered him. That's one thing he said when they delivered Yahshua. They delivered him for envy. This man haven't done anything. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it shall fall into a pit on the Shabbat day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Shabbat days.
Right. If you lose control of your car and it go in the ditch, you ain't gonna try to get your car out the ditch? Well, it's the Sabbath day, brother. I can't change that tire. Have you lost your mind? You gonna leave your car there because it's the Sabbath? And see, I've gone into some strange places where the ish said that alarm working because I keep seeing that red light on the motion. So, you think the alarm is a person? I need you to turn that alarm off. Man, you're going to get robbed, bro. You want to turn that alarm off because it's the Sabbath? That red light keep working. Wow. See, this is when you ain't got no business teaching yourself and you don't listen to the wrong people. Now they trying to turn the alarm system off, trying to turn the refrigerator off. All y'all gonna get sick. All that food in there gonna be spoiled. Are you kidding me, man? You trying to cut everything off on the Sabbath? It's working. Whoa. Be careful how you hear what you hear. Go ahead.
Then said he to the man, stretch forth your hand. And he stretched it out forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other. Then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him, how they might destroy him.
It's one of those things. If you run out of gas, if your ox fall in the ditch, you run out of gas, you don't just sit there and say, hey, I'm just gonna be stranded, because it's the Sabbath. And we're not supposed to buy or sell on the Sabbath. But here's also that thing that we may not have the opportunity to do. Our people had a preparation day to do everything that they needed to do. Now, if you're not utilizing your preparation day, you can't turn around and just keep throwing that stuff to the Sabbath. You're supposed to try on that preparation day to get as much as you can done. But if you about to run out of gas, you got to lead your ox got to drink some water. You don't turn around and just tell your ox, well, you can't drink today because it's the Sabbath. Then your ox pass out. Now, what kind of work are you going to get done now? But see, going in that store and getting that gas is one thing. Grabbing that Snicker bar right by the register is something altogether different. They put that stuff up there for a reason. That's premium advertising right there. See? Because see, most of us, when we get to the register, that's what we do. We just start looking around. And that's what they want you to do. That's why that stuff's sitting there. They paid to have that stuff sit by the register. And that's what we do, right? You ain't want no bubble gum. You look at that. Oh, that's a good, what's that, apple, banana? Oh, my goodness, I wonder what that tastes like. Yeah. You all over the place. Is that a new candy bar? That's a pretzel with chocolate and caramel. Put that up there. Now you got all kind of snacks and knick-knack. Man, you came in there to get gas, man. See? But see, they done stuck all of this stuff right at the register, and then you just picking. Now you just picking. Now you got all this stuff. You didn't come in there for that stuff. Focus on what you came in there for. Did you finish that up, man?
Yes.
All right, let's go to Luke chapter 13. If commercials didn't work, they wouldn't spend millions of dollars on them. Y'all need to consider that. And you know how these people love money. You know how they love money. So do you think they just throwing away money just to be on TV? No. They have found that advertisement works. They ain't throwing away no money. They hire firms to come in, look at my numbers and see where I can save money. Oh, you can save money if you fire all these people. Yeah, but we need 20 people to do the work. No. Actually, you can double up on them and make them work double hours, and you can do it with 10. They say, run it. And I'm going to get me a new Mercedes. Right. And you find that's what companies keep doing. They get something working, and then they get a firm to come in. How can I do this? And the firm said, look, just give us a percentage of everything we save you. All right? If we save you $1 million, give me a couple points off that. That's what they mean when they say a couple points. Give me a couple percent. 1%, 2%. 2% of millions is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's why you have all of a sudden you'll be working at a place and all of a sudden your workload just jumped up. Hey man, I used to be at the blue register. Now you done combine the blue and the red register. And I'm right. A firm came in and said, look, you can make more money if you double up that register and make that one person do both of those. That's how they do constantly. So they're not playing when they put together this advertisement and sitting things in certain places. It's to control your thought process. Luke chapter 13, and we're going to read verses 10 through 17.
And he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, there was a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years, and was bowed together, and could in no wise lift up herself.
18 years she has had this issue. This is one of the things that I was talking about. There's one thing about carrying problems from 1 year to the next year on your own, but there's certain things that just ain't going to be worked out in the calendar year. You don't know how long you're going to have to toil to get some things up off you. Go ahead.
And when Yahshua saw her, he called her to him, and said unto her, Woman, you are loose from your infirmity.
Now, you know, we done heard the woman, thou art loose, and it turned into all kind of vain gainsaying. Go ahead.
And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made straight, and glorified Elohim.
Wait a minute now. When TD told them, woman, you art loose, they passed out. He said, woman, you are loose, and she was healed of her infirmity. She was made straight. It didn't say he had to pick her up, they had to drag her out because she passed out. And she didn't speak in tongues either. But we pay for that theatrics. We love theatrics, Jack. And we pay top dollar to watch it. Go ahead.
And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation, because that Yahshua had healed on the Shabbat day, and said unto the people, There are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them therefore come and be healed, and not on the Shabbat day.
You're right. Don't come and be healed on the Shabbat. This a holy day. So you can't heal on the holy day. The same people saying that can't heal on no day. See that's the slickness of it. And when you talk to some of these other people about the Sabbath, you got to understand how much money they making on Sunday. That's like doing a concert. They have so many people in there. And then all these other people, they got all these other things going on. So they are not moved to even deal with the Shabbat. Go ahead.
The Adonai then answered him and said, You hypocrite! Does not each one of you on the Shabbat loose his ox or his ass from the stall, and lead him away to watering? And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has bound, lo, these 18 years, be loose from this bond on the Shabbat day? And when he had said these things, all his adversaries were ashamed, and all the people rejoiced for all the glorious things that were done by him.
All right, let's go to Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2, and we're going to read verses 25 through 29.
Verse 25. For circumcision verily profits, if you keep the law. But if you be a breaker of the law, your circumcision is made uncircumcision.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law,
right?
Shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?
Mm-hmm.
And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge you, who by the letter and circumcision does transgress the law? For he is not a Yehudi, which is one outwardly.
Not who has on all the clothing, has all the things that shows that they are a part of Israel. Go ahead.
Neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Yehudi, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit.
In the spirit of the law.
And not in the letter.
And not in the letter of the law.
Whose praise is not of men, but of Elohim.
We do keep the holy days in the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. That is why a lot of people believe that you cannot keep these holy days, but they don't understand and have not read the things of the Apocrypha to find out that this was the aim of the Euro Gentiles from the beginning, to get us to go away from keeping these days. And then you find that the majority of our preachers were educated in seminary schools that are owned and operated, controlled by Euro Gentiles. So they're teaching them, they're learning, they're getting a degree, and their degree is telling them not to deal with these certain things. This is how they're being taught. They're being taught. Let me tell you something. Your preacher always knew the name of Yahweh before you came here. He just didn't tell you. It is a back office conversation that all of them have. They all know the name of Yahweh. They all know the name of Yahshua. Yet they get right up on Sunday and say, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Power in the name. They always knew the real name. You think you saying something that they don't know. No, they know it. They just know that it's a certain amount of money that name gonna bring that Yahshua ain't gonna bring. They know this. They have made a decision not to teach you. So it's not like this is something that we couldn't find out. I mean, you look in the Passion of the Christ. Mel Gibson put Yahshua's name in Passion of the Christ. One of the most popular movies of all time. He made so much money. So many people went to that. So why everybody still walking around saying Jesus? When the woman that was playing his mother called his name, she said, Yahshua, and yelled it out. So how is it if millions of people seen this movie? How is it you can still go to somebody and say Yahshua, and they say, who is that? And what's crazy is did you go see that movie? Yeah. Interesting. But sometimes programming is so deep that you can put somebody in front of something and they still won't see it. And we were programmed from ground up to see and process things a certain way, which has allowed other people to talk above our heads in the same room. Because we don't understand these real principles, these people will be talking right in front of you, and you don't understand nothing that they're talking about. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 58. And start at verse 1, bro.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Yaakov their sins. Yet they seek me daily, and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and forsook not the ordinance of their Elohim. They ask of me the ordinance of justice. They take delight in approaching to Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore have we fasted, say they, and you see it not? Wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and you take it no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast you find pleasure, and exact all your labors.
See, that's what we were talking about earlier. In the day of your fast, you find pleasure and exact all your labors. You still doing other little stuff on the day that you're supposed to be fasting, so you can make the day go by quicker. Go ahead.
Behold, you fast for strife and debate, and to smite with the fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as you do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high. Is it such a fast that I have chosen? A day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Will you call this a fast and an acceptable day to Yahweh? Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, that you break every yoke. Is it not to deal your bread to the hungry, and that you bring the poor that are cast out to your house? When you seat the naked, that you cover him, and that you hide not yourself from your own flesh. Then shall your light break forth as the morning, and your health shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of Yahweh shall be your reward. Then shall you call, and Yahweh shall answer. You shall cry, and he shall say, Here I am. If you take away from the midst of you the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity, and if you draw out your soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall your light rise in obscurity, and your darkness be as the noonday. And Yahweh shall guide you continually, and satisfy your soul in drought, and make fat your bones. And you shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water, whose waters fail not. And they that shall be of you shall build the old waste places. You shall rise up the foundations of many generations, and you shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in. If you turn away your foot from the Shabbat, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Shabbat a delight to the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then shall you delight yourself in Yahweh. And I will cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed you with the heritage of Yaakov your father. For the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it.
Once again, we find that same thing. If you do these things, then I will give you certain things. In the beginning of this book, there were always stipulations to us receiving the blessings. But what we hear today is blessing, 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 blessing. But we never hear any conditions. The adversary, the devil, is the only one that offered blessings without conditions. He said, just bow down and worship me and all shall be yours. There's no conditions there. Yahweh gave conditions. Deuteronomy 28 only has about 14 verses about the blessings. The rest from 14 or 15 down to 68 is all about the curses. And nobody wants to deal with that. All they want to talk about is blessing, blessing. You see how rich these people live? Then Yahweh bless them. They bless. These must be the children of Israel. They bless. The entire chapter is dealing with the curses. Yet people have bewitched us and think that the more money we have, the more blessed we are. And that does not fit what's in this book. Yahweh has always had stipulations for our being blessed. Now, understanding that we are not in our land, that we are not, do understand, all of these things that were given unto them, we were completely in control of our own existence of everything. Imagine everything you see here and everything being set up by you. When the police pull you over, it's going to be police who look just like you. If you go to court and you have a jury, everybody on that jury is going to look just like you and have the same culture. That's the real key. Because you got some people look like you, but they don't think like you. See, looking like you is only one thing. Having the same culture as you do is something altogether different. That's where the difference is. But because we wouldn't do that in our own land, now we have to deal with all of these other things in our enemy's land. There's certain things, like I said, that you're just not going to find that's not going to be on the Sabbath day. You're going to have to deal with this, but this is part of our punishment. That when we do get in our own land, that there's absolutely no having to go up and down to try to get off on the holy days, to try and keep this day, to try and do that. Some people have to fight to get their days off to keep the holy days. And some people just have to straight call in. Say, well, look, I don't know if you're going to get that day. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to be sick. I feel a cough coming on. I got sick days, I'm taking them. So that's the part of properly observing this Sabbath. But do understand, Yahweh also knows the intent of man's heart and why we do what we do. See, we might be able to hide why we do what we do from one another, but that is never hidden from Yahweh. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.